Welcome anyone tuning in to our biweekly Director Roundtable. It's your town hall update within our departments, and we have with us today Richard Johnson, right over here, our Public Works Director, Tom Cool, Parks and Rec Director, Richard Peterson over here, our Operation Director, Sherry Lee, Botop, Economic and Community Development Director. Len Mazer is our Special Products.
We're not making any.
Did you have any products?
No,
you're working
products
on?
this year, no.
Special projects. And Eric Cortinez, our Building Director. So welcome everyone. And we're actually going to get started with our special guest today. Darby is our Museum Director, and she's going to give us a little bit of fun stuff that we want to know about Fairhope.
Thank you so much for having me today. There's always something exciting to discover at the Fairhope Museum of History. We are open Tuesday through Saturday. Volunteers are available to answer questions and give tours from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And thanks to the City of Fairhope, you can enjoy us free admission. I'm wearing my super stylish Friends of the Fairhope Museum of History baseball cap today to remind you that we have a wonderful group of supporters whose mission it is to support the museum. And the Friends have their own gift shop right inside the museum. And right now I'm told they are running a limited special on these fabulous baseball caps. Just $5, just in time for Valentine's Day. So come by the museum and get one before they're gone. I did bring a few to this meeting just in case anybody needed one. No matter what year it is, I like to say it's always a great year for Fairhope. But I want to take a moment to remind everyone this is an extra special anniversary year that we are in right now. Not only are we in the final bicentennial celebration year for the state of Alabama, but this just happens to be Fairhope's 125th birthday. In January of 1894, a group of thinkers concerned about nationwide poverty and inequality that they saw met in the office of E.B. Gaston. E.B. is the gentleman who's credited with being our town's founder, and they were in Des Moines, Iowa at this point. It wasn't an unusual group. There were many across the country, and they had been meeting for some time. But what was different about January 4th, 1894, was that they decided to stop just talking about things, and they decided to take action. That night in Des Moines, they formed a committee, and they set out to create bylaws and a constitution to found Fairhope. And 10 months and 3 weeks later, they arrived here on the eastern shore of Mobile Bay. And the date of our founding, also known as Roundup Day, is November 15th, 1894. So at this time of the year, back in February 1894, they didn't even know where Fairhope would be yet. I have an excerpt from She's Bound to Be a Goer by Pico Forceman. There's another great Valentine's Day idea, by the way. We do sell these in the gift shop, as well as I'm sure other great bookstores around town. During the winter of 1894 in Des Moines, Iowa, this group that I mentioned, they worked on documents describing the guiding principles of an industrial association. They were trying to establish this. It would be an association, sometimes referred to as a colony, of individuals who endeavored to follow the economic principles of Henry George, economist and single tax proponent. The ideas they codified on these pages had only a fair chance of success. And in this, they found a name. It was Fairhope, as in a fair hope of success. Thus, the Fairhope Industrial Association was born. By the spring of 1894, the association had a constitution and distinct goals written for all to see. In order to realize their goals, the association needed land. So a committee of two, Mr. S.S. Mann and Mr. James Belangi, traveled extensively during late spring and early summer. In August of 1894, the committee reported about their search to the membership of the association. They traveled first to Grand Prairie, Arkansas. Next, they investigated land near Lake Charles, Louisiana. That tract was 4,000 acres, which included a pumping station and a steamboat on Bayou Shin. That was a great place to grow rice. The hope that the owners would sell it all for $40,000 did not materialize. Next, they went to Crosby, Texas, where they were impressed with the quality of the land, but found no bargain. They moved on to Baldwin County, Alabama, after Mr. E.Q. Norton of Daphne, he was a vigorous advocate of the single tax theory, brought the area to the attention of the association. Mr. Mann and Mr. Belangi were enthusiastic about this area because of its beauty and the opportunities it offered. They then went to northwest Mobile County. They looked at Deer Park and Citronelle areas. Then it was on to West Point, Mississippi, and western Tennessee near Memphis, and then back home to Des Moines, Iowa. The committee favored the areas farthest south because, they noted, at no time while they could enjoy the Gulf breeze were they bothered by bed bugs. Sometime in September of 1894, voting by the association membership for either the Baldwin County site or the western Tennessee site determined that the Baldwin County site would be the location of the Fairhope colony. So if it weren't for freedom from bed bugs and if it weren't for that group, we would be having this conversation in Tennessee right now. So how do we know all of this? Well, there are a lot of wonderful resources to help us learn about our founders and the early days of Fairhope. And I always say the value of our historical objects lies in the stories that they tell. I hope this one's on.
Yes, it is right there, if you want to sit down and stuff.
Oh, I'll just use this.
Oh, right here.
Okay. So this is something you can access on your own 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's a fantastic resource. I use it a lot. This is the Fairhope Single Tax Corporation. They invested countless hours and talent getting their archives online. It's something maybe we could do with the History Museum someday, maybe years down the road. But I'm just going to, you can go to search, and I'm just going to put in January 1894, and this will be quick. I only have just a couple more minutes. Lynn said I had 10 minutes, so I'm going to fast forward through this. Okay. And so you can see, you can access the meeting minutes from this original group from the 18th of January. You can get them from February 1st. You can see all these great handwritten in their original pen. I'm going to scroll down here. Let's see, this one here. Okay, there's a little bit of a typo there. It says January 1st, but it should be January 4th. But what's so cool about this is that you can read this meeting in this beautiful E.B. Gaston penmanship, the records of the Fairhope Industrial Association, and it says on Thursday, January 4th, 1894, at the office of E.B. Gaston, room 8 over, 513 West 6th Street, Des Moines, Iowa, assembled a... It's a little hard to read. Anyway, they're talking about it, and this is where they said, all right, we're going to stop talking about it. We're really going to do it. So we don't have a lot of time, but I encourage everyone to explore more of these on your own. We are looking for volunteers who wouldn't mind helping create transcripts of these. They're wonderful. It's a treasure that we have them online. But if anyone in the community is interested, it would be great to have the easy-to-read transcripts for students, for community members, for museum researchers, to glean more great information from the original text. I'm not sure if it's a coincidence or not that I did have to get progressive lenses this year after spending a lot of time with these. So if you'd like to be part of that, you can email me at Darby, D-A-R-B-Y, at fairhopeal.gov, or you can call at 929-1474. And the other tab I want to show you is the Alabama Bicentennial. Here. There we go. This is a really cool site. You can explore and engage with all sorts of things happening all over our state related to our bicentennial. I'm going to go to the Engage tab and go down here to Passport, not passport, but Passport, and click on that. There's a book that, actually I have several of them here today. If you're interested, they're just $10. We sell them in the museum's gift shop, and it's a really cool idea. Oh, well, there used to be a video. It's probably, oh, there we go. It's just 30 seconds, so it won't take long, but it'll give everybody a chance to see what this is all about. Oops, okay, we may not be able to do that. All right, Well, just now that you know it's there, you can take a
For
look.
nearly
I encourage you
300
to.
destinations featured in the book.
There you go.
See the places and meet the legends whose stories shaped the nation. Learn more about the passport.
So you
and
might be able to
Alabama's
tell
bicentennial
there's a page
celebrations
for
at
every county in the book.
alabama200.org. This message
And at
is
the
sponsored
Fairhope
by
Museum
the
of History, we
Alabama
have Baldwin
Bicentennial
County's
Commission,
stamp. And you can go get a
Alabama
stamp for your
Broadcasters Association,
passport
and this
all
station.
over the state.
Alabama Bicentennial Commission.
So I hope you'll join us in celebrating 125 years of Fairhope this year. Stop by the museum at 24 North Section Street and see the birthday card tree that folks have already started helping us create. And stay tuned in with the City of Fairhope for more information about upcoming events.
Thank you so much. Very, very interesting. I didn't bring my glasses either, and I forgot to say that Wayne Dias is also here with our planning director. So hopefully I'll be getting my glasses soon. Okay, and I think, who had a presentation?
Got a little presentation.
Okay.
Mayor, kind of the big event that we are looking forward to in Public Works is this Saturday, which is February 16th, is our annual Arbor Day in the city of Fairhope. And of course, we host Arbor Day on the campus of Coastal Community College. And it will be on the Bancroft side of the campus, and you can't miss us. We'll have tents and all type of thing. And you know, some of the things that we do at Arbor Day, there's some pictures from past years, is one, we recognize businesses that have done an outstanding job of beautifying and preserving their site as they redeveloped or developed new. Also, one of the most interesting things is our school children get involved on artwork based upon our annual theme. And here is from one of our school campuses, and those that were judged to have the best artwork will be presented an award as well on Saturday. And probably the thing that folks look forward to the most is that we do give out bare root trees for them to plant on Arbor Day. And they will all be bagged up and ready for them. And this year, we've got a great selection for our citizens to pick from. We have red maples, American hornbeam, catawba, French tree, the western mayhaw, which does produce a fruit, I understand, that makes a great jelly, green ash, of course, longleaf pine, winged elms, arrowwood, and pond cypress. So it does start at 9:30. We're going to have some entertainment from our local school band. There'll be a little bit of presentation awards, and then the tree giveaway will begin. So please join us this Saturday, 9:30 on the campus of Coastal Community College in downtown Fairhope for our 2019 Arbor Day.
Wonderful.
What's this year's theme?
Trees.
Trees?
Trees are great inside and out.
Oh, okay.
And if I got that wrong, that's last year's, I apologize.
But they are, right?
They're still great, inside or out.
I
So,
love trees.
I love it.
Thank
Who
you,
also
Mayor.
goes next? Thank you.
I'll give
Go
it a
ahead.
little.
Okay.
Real quick and kind of answer, get a lot of questions about what's going on. There's 4 or 5 things that I just want to make people aware of because I get a lot of questions about it. Directly across the street from City Hall, that is what we refer to as the Moore Building. The contractor, David Martin, it has been shut down in front for the last few days because they have to build a protected walkway, and he wanted to provide a full ADA compliant sidewalk during construction. So they formed up and poured a brand new sidewalk that will be demoed at the end of the project.
Wow.
But we're going to have a full sidewalk, and they're going to be putting the protected walkway up the next 2 days. But we're going to have a full sidewalk. It juts out and comes back around so that we've got full access. It's been cut off for a couple of days, but he got that done today. You will see probably in the next week or so, some dirt work begin up across from Greer's. There's 2 parcels. Those 2 big unbuilt parcels are owned by Mr. Bethea, and he's got buildings, and we've got plans in for those. We're in the process of getting ready to issue those building permits, but he is picking up his land disturbance permits probably by the end of the week, and they're going to set some fencing, and then they're going to start earthwork there and some land disturbance right there. So you'll start seeing that directly across from Greer's. We should, by the end of this week, issue the permit for what they're referring to as the Morphine Market, which is the old Rite Aid building. It's got a kitchen and deli in the back. It's got a juice bar up front, and it's kind of a little small market. I'm waiting on a few finished paperwork items from the contractor, but we'll have that ready to go. In Ben's Barbecue, they had a permit to redo, they had some roof issues on the existing building, and then there's some just general refit that the new owner wants to do inside the building. So we've gotten those permits together, got those issued. I'm not sure of his time frame, but he has everything, I'm assuming he has everything he needs from the city to go on ahead and do that. And last I spoke to him, he's going to reopen. I believe he wants to keep the name Ben's. That may change, but I believe that's what his intentions are.
Is it the same menu, or you probably don't know that?
Don't know the menu. I don't know. I know he's talking
I miss
barbecue,
corn
so
fritters
I know.
very,
Who
very
was
much.
it? Somebody else said there was something unique
potato
that they
skins.
had that they were ready. They'd been missing it since Ben's closed, so I have to try that. And for the folks up on the north end of town, the retreat at Fly Creek, the apartment complex, they've poured one full slab, working on the second one, and they're going to start probably getting ready to go vertical with framing on that here pretty quick. So, and the manner in which they're building that building, it's going to be, people are going to be kind of surprised at how fast it goes up, because it's tilt-up walls. It's got, some wall panels that are going to come in and frame it. So that should be starting here within the next 2 weeks. We'll start seeing some actual framing going in up there.
Wonderful.
Okay?
Thank you so much. Wayne?
Thank you, Mayor. Just outside the normal things, just want to mention a couple. One is we had, as many of you may know, we had about 15 small cell 5G sites that were AT&T was looking at placing around town. We had a development review committee meeting, which was video, which is on the YouTube channel, where we went through, and one of our staff members, Mike Jeffries, did a very good job of working with AT&T, and instead of putting up new poles, a majority of those will be co-located on different sites. That was very good. We thought it was best in the best interest of the city to have those co-located rather than putting up new poles, so Mike did a great job with that, and I think we're very proud of the result we got out of that. Secondly, I just want to mention that we are working on the Green Road corridor. We are looking and researching, and hopefully we'll have some drafts to present fairly soon with that, using some of the information we've garnered through the years as far as the concerns on Green Road, but also with the VPS, which I think Shirley's going to talk about later on. And we took those and are creating an overlay zone to protect the character of Fairhope and implement some of the goals that we have for Green Road. So that's all I have.
Thank you very much.
You can.
Thank you, and I had my glasses dropped off, so, Tom?
All right. Got quite a few things here going on. Out there at Quail Creek, the maintenance crew continues to work hard on details and making it a better place. And they've recently put sod down on 2 of the tee boxes. I think it's 3 and 4 gold. And then coming up real soon, they're planning on redoing the sod on 4 white and 4 red. And that's just going to be an ongoing thing with trying some different grasses to get some healthier tee boxes. And Jeff Marks asked me to mention that his first Nine and Dine is scheduled for March 15th at 3:45. And that was a big hit last go around, and he expected to be huge again this year. And then the Thief Tournament is scheduled for Friday, March 29th. And then they've scheduled the Fairhope Employees Golf Outing on March 31st. And then he told me today that the new club repair building should be finished within 2 weeks. So that's moving right along. And then over at the pool, the Reynolds, who run Fairhope Swim, they started back doing the group and individual lessons, and the schedule's filling up fast. But for any information on individual or group lessons, you can call the pool and get some more information on that. And in tennis, things are wide open out there with Tomas and his crew. Spring's just around the corner, and the weather's been fairly decent this year in between rainstorms. So, just about 6 days a week that I go by there, the clay courts are full. I went by there Friday morning, and there was probably 30 people standing around waiting for their turn to play on the clay courts. And there also was, play going on in the hard courts, but at some point, you know, maybe in next year's budget, we're gonna have to look at, you know, add more tennis courts out there. It's just, you know, Tomas has got a lot going on. He's got, you know, after-school programs and the league play and high school practices. It's just, there's always something happening out there at the tennis courts, and we're trying to get specs together to go out to bid for the new pickleball / youth court. So it'll be 4 of them. It's basically takes up the size of one tennis court, but we'll get that all put together and get that on the street here pretty quick. And then over at the ballparks, it's normal spring maintenance at all the parks. Everybody's running wide open, trying to get the baseball, softball, soccer fields ready for play, and it all kicks off here pretty quick. In fact, youth baseball practice, weather permitting, was supposed to start tonight. And I think they're, you know, way north of 700 kids playing again this spring. And then their opening day is going to be March 9th. Youth softball is starting practice within the next week, and their opening day is March 16th. Soccer's not having an opening day so much. They're just going to start playing games on March 12th out at Manly. Pirate baseball, their first home game is next Tuesday on the 19th. And the Lady Pirates, their first game is next Monday on the 18th. So they've been practicing right along for a month or so now. And then Pirate Soccer, their first home game in the stadium is February 19th, which is just next Tuesday. And then middle school soccer, their first home game at Founders is tonight, again, weather permitting. And then Sunday, there was 8 or 10, 12 members from the local Kiwanis Club that had a work day over at Fells Park.
Nice.
And they did some, we supplied them with some wire brushes and some paint and some rollers, and they did a lot of scraping and sanding and painting and got the swing sets and teeter-totters and everything in pretty good shape. They replaced some fence board and pushed some mulch around, spread some mulch.
And they've done that before, haven't they? That's kind of
They
their
have, and
park.
I think they're getting back into it, going to make it a regular thing now. So
Very nice.
that's all I have.
Great, thank you. Chief?
Sorry, I was running late.
Oh, no, totally fine.
Just a couple of things. I did not recognize this, or actually I forgot about it till Friday. Actually, Friday morning. We had our first 7th grade class that graduated for it was Keeping It Real DARE program. So that was the first class that went through a 10-week program with Officer Bishop, and we had 40 graduates in that DARE program. So we were really excited about that. That's going to be one of just many things that are coming that the DARE program offers in our middle school, and we're looking forward to getting the rest of our officers DARE certified so that we can provide even more services.
And this is for educating kids,
Yes.
the detrimental effects of drugs.
It teaches students effective communication skills, and they really enjoyed it, and they had a great time.
That's great.
And the other big thing that we're going to be doing tomorrow, Coffee with a Cop. We had several of our residents who've asked us to put together something for Everbridge. They wanted to know how to get on Everbridge. So Sherry and I are actually, and I think Laura Selby in the IT department, we're going to set up something tomorrow where we can walk everyone through who's coming to the Coffee with a Cop. So that'll be
That's
one
great.
of the big things that we get to do tomorrow. So we're excited about that. And other than getting ready for Mardi Gras, that's it. Just like everybody else.
Well, that's a lot. Well, thank you. Sherry Lee?
And arts and crafts, right after.
So let's just
Exactly.
take
One at a time. All right, okay, all right. We just have that meeting tomorrow, so.
move into arts and crafts.
I found out late Friday, Mayor, I don't think I've been able to tell you yet, that our Restore Waterfront proposal is all done into Treasury. Everything we're submitted. Second one in the pipeline.
Right.
So.
And that was after the port project
Correct.
at Mobile, so we're
Right.
way ahead of the
We're
game.
really
We're
first
excited.
in line.
Yeah, we're first.
I mean, Port is it's such a big project. Wayne mentioned the visual preference survey. We are presenting the results of that. I would say they're preliminary, but they're still in draft form. I think we'll post them to the website this week. On the 28th of this month, we're presenting them to the Baldwin County Realtors at a breakfast meeting. So we'll throw that out there. And then I think, Wayne, you're already working on some recommendations from the results.
Yeah, we are. We work on the results, and also the Board of Realtors was a partner with us on this project. They paid for part of the study, so
That's right.
we want to thank them for their funds.
Absolutely.
That's right.
So we will post that later this week. I just mentioned arts and crafts. We are working on the visitor's guide to have it ready. On the heels of State of the City, we jumped right into the visitor's guide and getting that ready. We're working with the Downtown Fairhope Business Association and then internally all the departments. It's a big lift, and we're trying to really revamp it this year to make it much more user-friendly, better designed. I think it's going to be great looking and really easy for people to use with a pull-out map and something to guide people around our city more easily. So we're looking forward to that. I think we'll have a preliminary draft of that by Wednesday. So we're just plugging along. Mayor, I didn't know if you wanted to mention the newsletter, the biweekly that we're working on. Do you want me to
for
touch
the
on
email?
that?
Go ahead. No.
We're going to start a biweekly e-blast on the off weeks from council meetings to report out to citizens about important decisions that were made in council meetings, and then have photos and updates on, we're calling it Your Tax Dollars at Work, something like that, to give people updates on projects going on around the city with photos and things like that. Like Richard, for example, his department has already started the $30 million upgrades on infrastructure improvements, and we want to update citizens. They want to know what's going on. So this is going to be another outreach mechanism for us to do that. So we're excited about that. That will start in not in between this council meeting, but the next one. We'll launch that. And then the alleyway stakeholder kickoff meeting is tomorrow. So we're finally going to start working on that. And we're not the hold up on it. It was a quad party agreement. It was very complicated to get this contract done, but it is done. And we kick that off tomorrow. We will have preliminary designs out of that by March 12th. So we'll start to know what this might look like, the alleyway and the Bratz Hub going
And
by
this
the
is for the parking
garage.
We'll have an entrance off of Section.
That's right.
It'll be a lot more recognizable and more inviting.
And we are going to start before that, like ASAP, putting up some parking directional signage for our public parking. And we looked at some preliminary ideas for that. So we'll go ahead and kick that off quickly. We may do pole banners or something simple so we can get that going, because I know there have been a lot of complaints about people not being able to find parking. So we don't want to hold up that project waiting on our wayfinding design for the whole city. So we'll move forward with that. The only other thing I'll mention is that the Resilience Conference that's coming up April 3rd through 5th, which is going to be at the library. We're hosting it. It's Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida will all be involved. They send municipal leaders, people that work in planning departments, building departments, environmental engineers. I mean, all sorts of people come to this. So it's a really important conference, and we're really excited to host it.
It's a big coup for Fairhope.
It is a big coup for Fairhope.
Want to explain what they're going to do with the marina?
Yes. So are you talking about the planting day? Yeah. So we're actually trying to talk them into working for us while they're here and having them plant living shoreline down at the Fairhope Docks Marina. It's something we've been talking to a couple experts about for a few months, and working with students of a couple universities, but also we've decided to make this their project while people are in town for this. They'll come down, put on their boots, and help us plant.
Absolutely, let's put them to work.
We're putting them to work. You're going to come to Fairhope, you're going to go to work.
Well, but the great thing about it is, first of all, it's going to be done in an area where we can get some wind protection.
That's right.
And it is coastal planning, but it's an experiment that they're doing, and they
It is.
maintain the plantings.
That is correct. So, and it is an experiment. We'll see what lives, what doesn't live, and how it works. And it's the first one we've really done in Fairhope. So I know Dr. Douglas would be proud, Richard. He'll be a part of it. We'll have him out there in his wading boots. So, yeah, excited.
Thank you, Mayor. Shirley mentioned I've been working with Jessica a little bit on some of the frequently asked questions and trying to explain in detail some of what our goals are in the wastewater improvement at this point in time, but we'll work on some of the of the utilities as well as we go through that. But speaking of the wastewater, we had the annual rehabilitation contract we've done. I had some manholes lined up to have lined, and the manhole at the intersection of Fells and Church proved to be a little more problematic in that it's made of brick and it's probably been there since the 60s. And some of the brick had fallen out from the wall of the manhole and into the bottom, and then some of those brick had washed down the sewer line. And so we were tempted to look at some type of an emergency action to do that, and then we started investigating it more and had the rehabilitation company for manholes come out, and they felt like they could fix it. And so if you saw the two tanks that were beside the south section lift station, one of the issues we had with not just fixing the manhole, but trying to clear the bricks out of the line, which we felt like could be a problem if we happen to get something stuck, in the process of pulling these bricks out. But they pulled 30 bricks out of the gravity line, and they cleared all the bricks out of the manhole and lined it, and it looks really good right now. And I can't thank, Jay Whitman and Tom Jones and the operators that were involved in that repair. They did it mostly at night, and we recognize that, we want to try to be as, we don't want to bring attention to what we're trying to do, so we're trying to do it at night when there's low flow. And that project went extremely well and saved us a lot of aggravation. But in the process of doing that, we did communicate with our consultant on that particular transmission project and had backup plans to react fairly quickly if we wound up having a problem and had to bypass that section of sewer. So it was, all in all, very successful. And it just tells you that, that's one brick manhole in the system out of probably close to 2,000 or 3,000. And we've got to be looking and investigating all of them. That one is particularly vulnerable to corrosion because of the two force mains that discharge into it. But we are looking at, from the wastewater plant out at the system, and trying to look at where we can make improvements to the inflow too. But it is a long process, and it will take a long time to get all that done.
And then we start over again.
And then we'll start over again. But we are making a lot of improvements in the design now. And as we go through these things and we field complaints from different people, some are odor complaints, some are noise complaints, and we're looking to try to see how we can incorporate features within our improvement projects to accommodate those people with complaints. And, it's just important that we try to be as, we want to be a utility that's got a high level of service and that people don't have to be concerned about or be aggravated about. We want to be good neighbors to all that. And I want everybody to understand that. We just can't get to every single issue today. Right. And I try to let people know that. As far as the elevated tank goes at Fairhope Avenue, we're about to start the process of filling it back up, maybe the next week. We've got AT&T is on the tank, and I think they have their permanent service back in place now. Sprint has their equipment on site, and I think they're working to get that done. Verizon may have came in and got a permit today.
They haven't, I haven't seen them today, but I'm expecting them anytime.
I know they called yesterday, or they called this morning talking about trying to get here. So hopefully, and I don't know if you've seen anybody from Verizon or not, but they're aware of the procedures, and hopefully we can get all those done fairly quickly. I had one call today. Of course, I have a call about every day, but we try to give them the best information we have, and unfortunately, sometimes
we probably need to
things get backed
update
up.
that frequently asked question
And with,
too.
with the rain, the rain doesn't
schedule.
help with any of those things either. And on the electric side, the property for the substation at the corner of what would be Young and Nichols across the street from the substation we have now, we may have permission to start to purchase that. We met with the electrical engineer of that project last week. He was down for the pre-construction meeting on the marina electrical work. And of course, Lynn joined us for that meeting, which was very nice.
She gave me the update.
And hopefully, the biggest issue with that is some of the equipment requirements for that particular job are not standard items that you just buy off the shelf. And so the lead time on that equipment is still 12 to 14 weeks. We look forward to getting all of that done. We've got the new transformer that we'll need out there ordered, and it should be delivered within a couple of weeks. And then we'll have to do something with the door that is accessed just beside the restrooms. There's a closet door there that has to be a little wider than what it is now for the new transformer to get in there. So we're working on that as well. This morning I met with the contractor of the widening project on 181, and part of that widening project extends below 104 as the transition of the 4-lane back to the 2-lane, and there's a relocation of our water line there, and with the elevated tank across from Walmart on Fairhope Avenue or 48, and with the elevated tank that we're just painting now on Fairhope Avenue just west of 13, you know, right now we just have a 6-inch water line that feeds everything from Fairhope Avenue up to 104 in that corridor. We looked at the possibility of upgrading that line to a 12-inch line, which seems to be the practical approach to getting that done. It saves us from having to do it later one day, but I'm getting together some costs for that, and since the highway department is responsible to replace what we have, and they have prices to add the extra size pipe as an upgrade cost that we would have to pay, and so I'll be looking at trying to get
That's great.
some type of an approval to do that, hopefully tonight. But, you know, things are busy and guys are working hard and we're doing the best we can, and we appreciate everybody's support.
Yep. This is great. Great news. Great updates. Lynn, do you have anything?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, thank everybody for coming and tuning in, and the work session starts next at 4:30. Thank you.